So welcome to Tuesday. We're just taking the story from Sunday, and we're just kind of breaking it down and giving you a chance to kind of process this. Deuteronomy 8:3, Moses explains why God allowed them to take a 2-week story. Actually, he led them and made it a 2-year story. He says this: He did it to teach you that people do not live by bread alone. Rather, we live by every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. And I'm going to say this again because it's really, really important. That means God allowed the children of Israel to face hard times so that they wouldn't look at themselves and say, look what we did. Look at our strength. Look at our material possessions. Moses said, no, not at all. You are completely dependent on God and his presence in your life. So my question for you today is kind of, what have you concluded about the challenges in your life? I want to read something for you out of Hebrews 12. I want to read it for you because it is really eye-opening about challenges in your life and what God is doing with them. So bear with me. It's Hebrews 12 in the Message version. God is educating you. That's why you must never drop out. He's treating you as dear children. This trouble you're in isn't punishment, it's training. Did you hear that? This trouble you're in isn't punishment, it's training, the normal experience of children. Only irresponsible parents leave children to fend for themselves. Would you prefer an irresponsible God? We respect our own parents for training and not spoiling us, so why not embrace God's training so we can truly live? While we were children, our parents did what seemed what was best to them, but God is doing what is best for us, training us to live God's holy best. At the time, discipline isn't much fun, but it always feels like it's going against the grain. Later, of course, it pays off handsomely, for it's the well-trained who find themselves mature in their relationship with God. Did you recognize that part? Did you see that part? I'm curious about how you responded to it. The trouble you're in isn't punishment, it's training. Many times, people who are raised in church or people who are raised in a really highly guilt-motivated religious environment, many times they come to really wonky conclusions about why they're facing trouble or challenges in your life. Many times, they believe God's angry, God is judging them, and God is punishing them. And that's not at all what we see in Hebrews, right? Does it help you to realize that God's in love with you and this is just the normal part of God loving you and wanting you to kind of surrender your life to him? God isn't punishing you. He's training you. And as Scripture says, it doesn't feel good. We know this is why Scripture talks about it so much. If you feel like God is getting even with you, or if you feel like God is punishing you, I would really encourage you to really reread Hebrews 12. And if you have more struggles with that, reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you about that. So my question to you is, what have you concluded about some of the troubles and hard times that you've walked through as we take this journey with God and try to figure out what it means to be a Christ follower, what it means to find spiritual maturity? But I want to assure you of something. Hebrews 12, through the words of Paul, says, this isn't punishment. God's not getting even with you. No, this is training. This is a normal process of what it means when God's madly in love with you. And that's really the story of the children of Israel. So give that some time, process it. What have you concluded about some of the struggles that you have been walking through? I'll see you tomorrow.